Hello, man. Let me go back to the YouTube page and see. Okay. Hello, man. Okay, we have good sound. If there's any problem with the sound, just let me know in the chat, and I'll try to correct it. Sometimes we get some echo or reverb, and that's kind of natural for my poor sound system. And this is just not working right here today. I got to get centered. Oh, I know what it is. I got the wrong. There it is. Okay. How you doing today, Joey? You got a slow start
Hey,
with me today?
good. Yeah, just taking it easy, soaking in the sun a little bit.
Yeah, it's sunny out there. That strange orange ball occurred in the sky. I didn't know what it was. There was ancient myth that actually existed.
Yeah,
And yeah, that was surprising. Well, we're going to get a little sun today. It's going to start warming up where I'm at. I guess I don't know how long that's going to be, but I'm going to enjoy it getting out on the bike. And it's been uh, it's been quite a winter. I took a shitload of night cool last night, and I feel like drowsy this morning. I'm dehydrated and all those things. Night cool's not as good as you would think it is.
yeah, it definitely.
Put you to sleep, but
Yeah, it definitely does. I don't know what it does to your brain chemistry though.
yeah, it does something weird to your brain chemistry. I think there's sugars in it, and there's a bunch of things in there that I don't know if you generally want to put in your body. But I felt disoriented this morning. And intestinal like problems. I was like, oh God, it's like, what did this do to me?
Yeah,
And so that was my morning routine. Of trying to shake that off. I was like, kind of going, man, get back to normal. But I did sleep, and that's probably the most important part when it's it's cold and we're getting to that time of year where depression sets in, and you start making there's anticipation about the spring and mating season's coming up, and that'll lead to a lot of life coaching lessons, huh?
yeah, they have all the answers. They.
All the answers, all the
Yeah,
answers. So today
yeah,
we're going to talk a little bit about life coaching. There's three aspects to life coaching that I always thought was funny, and a lot of the failed life coaches are just you can tell, and it becomes comical on YouTube. And but there's three major aspects of life coaching, and like I say, most life coaching goes around Maslow's hierarchy. There's this magic place, self actualization, you can get to, and it's that triangle. You get to the triangle of self actualization, and that's a magic place where you can convince yourself that you achieve some diploma or what would they call it? A certificate. You get a certificate. And do you have any life coaching certificates?
no, I don't have any. No, I don't. I'm
No.
not.
Yeah, I probably got a half a dozen life coaching certificates in my life. And this goes along with counselors too. If you get an inept counselor, if you go in and you say, "Man, I've been through a little bit of trauma, or I've been through a little bit of hard life, and man, I just need someone to talk this through to." And usually, under your insurance, you can do that. Most of the time they're going to start on this Maslow's are your hierarchical needs met, and then there's this magic place where when you pay your bill, that's self actualization. But there's two other kinds. I talked about the other kind the other day. It was called people with no problems, trying to tell people with problems how not to have problems by not having problems. And that's most often what we get. Like you get these perfect people, and perfect people with no problems can't tell you how not to have problems by not having problems. Woo! The high intensity salesman. That's usually what we got that with Chris Cantu, and we got that a lot of guys. A lot of guys have these really huge personalities, and like me, and I'm so being pretty. and and
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy, and then there's the special group of there's a special group of Aaron, the Aaron Clary, his you could, if you were like me, is a fallacy, because you can't be like me, can you? No matter, no matter how hard you try, and you got a problem, you got to fix, and around MGTOW, most of the guys are going to come in with some sort of glaring malady. I've been kicked out of my house. I live in a one room. The government's taking all my money and she's giving it to Claire. And I can't see my kids, or, I got 6 baby mamas. So what do I do? All those things. And those are difficult problems. And most of the time in MGTOW, we're gonna say, hey, I can't help you with with the past. I can't fix the past. So we can tell you how to take some certain steps onto the future. And one of those certain steps, is to getting messages. One of those certain steps is to stop making the mistakes that you have made. And that's the simping. Oh, let me, okay, you can see my MGTOW. The simping, Sunday morning MGTOW, all your sins are forgiven, and we can start anew. This is an alternate MGTOW is an alternate religion for an alternate truthful religion where all your sins are forgiven. So there's a lot of things we do in MGTOW to present, to combat having future problems from these things, and we basic realistically in the world as the world exists on this terrestrial plane, not in some universe that doesn't exist, or some guy that you can aspire to be. And Jesus was like that way, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the ultimate life coach for sure.
He was the ultimate life coach. If you were just like me, and he didn't even say he was perfect. He was a homeless guy that wandered around with a group of people that had a terrific personality, and basically his was suffering, and just suffer with me through this, and God will give, and at the, you will self-actualize into heaven at the end. It's the same theory, isn't it? And you will self-actualize, and then you'll get to be with me in heaven, in a place where it's perfect. And essentially saying that the creator of the universe was going to take your personality after you die, the millions of synapses. He was going to preserve them. He was going to take them out of this old worn body and put them into a new body of light with all your personalities. And then we're going to be like, no, pain free. But life is pain most of the time, and Jesus was the ultimate life coach, and he said, well, if you're just like me, you could take this, you could be there. And he ended up getting killed by the Romans in a horrible way. And I don't know if that's something I aspire to.
No.
Do you want to be like hung on a piece of wood and like bled out in front of like people? That's really not something I aspire to. Aaron Clary always interested in me because he was obviously, I don't know what kind of family he comes from, or what his destination was in life, or but he was a banker, and he presented himself as, and this is just a presentation on YouTube of your success. You present your ultimate success. I could say I'm a successful banker. I don't have to shave because I'm breaking through. It's like you could see from I'm just so successful. If you were like me, you could be successful too, and hit that PayPal.
Yeah, well, eventually he's going to run the problems himself.
Right. Well, what happens when the problems come around and you don't have answers for those problems? And that goes to people without problems, trying to tell people with problems that the cure to their life is just not having problems. It's like, just pretend like they don't exist.
Well, then you got guys like Man there, our buddy TM. He's a guy that's got a lot of problems. He's still telling people how to how to live, you know.
TM, which one's that? TM.
The guy that failed, the MGTOW failure.
Yeah, Mike the MGTOW failure. He's like the only guy that ever failed in MGTOW.
Yeah, and and you got guys like him giving people life coaching advice.
Right. He was giving life coaching advice on how to like get enough money to smoke crack all night. And, if drugs are your release for, and they do. And that's part of the problem. Addiction with drugs and everything is you can get rid of all your problems for one night or a week. And that's a week of crack is going to cost you like $30,000. And, but that was his answer. I don't know if that was the answer, but that's what he presented eventually in the truth. I mean, me and you, we've been around so many years, and it's like if my truths were untrue, they would have presented themselves already to the public.
Yeah, they used to always get me when I had all these people that, they had all these destructive habits, but they always had time to tell me how to live my life. And meanwhile, I wasn't doing a lot of those things, if any of those things that they were doing.
Yeah.
But they always felt necessary to,
That's Joey. All you need to do is be like the image I present to the world, and that's something. Right. That's a thought. That's a philosophical thought, isn't it? The image I present to the world.
Yeah, it's just insane, and you're not with these people 24/7. You don't know what they're really like.
Yeah, you don't know what they're really like. You don't know their living conditions.
But YouTube's really dangerous because these yahoos are putting out these videos, giving out terrible advice. I'm watching this channel now. Like this guy, he's got a really good channel about like nutrition, and he gives a real good argument for why veganism and vegetarianism and why it's bad, and he breaks it down really well, and then he shows these videos of these vegans that are totally malnourished, and because they're not getting the nutrients, because the best place to get nutrients is through meat, and it's the more raw, the better. And this goes against a lot of conventional thinking, and I don't know. I think he brings up a lot of good points, and I think because he's in pretty good shape himself, and when you look into what he's saying, he's right. So. Yeah, you got to be careful. These vegans, like you got these teenage vegans, giving out advice, these 15-year-old vegans.
Yeah, that are telling everybody just not to eat certain things. Yeah.
Right. Starving themselves. And he advocates against that. You're really not supposed to be starving yourself. It puts a lot of stress on your body.
Right. Yeah. That's what there was a commercial a few months ago, maybe a month or weeks. And he's probably still running the commercial. He's like this. He's this ultimate fitness guy. He does the commercial with his shirt off. He's high intensity salesman guy. And he was like, his whole thing is like, hey, fatty, just stop eating.
Yeah.
And for, when I was 22, 21 years old, I'm 180, 72 pounds. I'm perfect shape. I could run 5 miles. I could present myself with my shirt off on YouTube if we had YouTube back then. When you're 20 some years old, you don't have too many problems, and you've never faced any real problems, any real adversity in your life. And that's what we around here, facing adversity with bravery and courage and steadfastness and those things. And we see all the cases. I mean, to the best part, I am a walking miracle. And there were certain steps I took to get back to where I am now. And it's not 100% great, but I'm not a retard. I can't use the R word. Sorry about that. We're not allowed to say that no more. I'm not I've worked through a lot of problems in life, so I've seen what works, what doesn't work, how that strength will resonate from inside you.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, because a lot of times, so what the world tries to push on people is that don't trust yourself, Yeah,
don't trust yourself.
Yeah, Jeff and I talk a lot about that, because that's when you start getting to the point when you're not trusting yourself, then you're heading down a really bad road because then you'll listen to anyone and anything, and it just confuses the heck out of you. Like this guy I was telling you about, his name is Goatis, Goatis,
Yeah.
and but he brings up a lot of really good points, like, 'cause he talks about how he goes, you really shouldn't be having strenuous exercising, like that's not really, you're putting too much stress on your body, like, he likes to get out in nature and stuff, but he says that's not really a natural thing for your body to do, is putting all this stress or lifting all these weights and doing all these things that everyone thinks is a conventional correct thing to do.
Yeah, there's a difference between bodybuilding and the stress of bodybuilding and exercising. Exercising is I try to emulate a process that I would have done in a day outside without getting outside.
Yeah. And then but again, just trusting yourself. I mean, if you're, tired, or if your shoulder's sore, you shouldn't be doing like bench pressing, if your shoulder's sore.
Yeah.
I hear horror stories in the gym, people ripping their pecs and all this crazy stuff. And, you got to listen to yourself and listen to your body. And not only physically, mentally, spiritually, all that kind of stuff, like just a kind of on a spiritual side. Like I didn't listen to myself. I was listening to these pastors and these religious leaders telling me that this is true. And then I would dig in deeper, and it's not true. It's a myth. All these things are myths.
Yeah. What was the religious answer? I've never really got answers from the religious people when I went to the religious people, and there were ambiguous, obscure answers to life's problems.
Mm-hmm.
And be more like Jesus. Joe, just sit here and pray. And what was the wait? Not Pascal's wager. It was the magician's wager. It's like, it's the milk jug.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask God for something, either it's going to happen. You can pray to a milk jug, and the same thing will happen. Either it's going to happen, it's not going to happen, or it'll happen in the future.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing when you're praying to the milk jug. If there's possibility it's going to happen. That's a slight possibility. If you're praying for money, a check in the mail, and I've never got like one of those. We hear all the Christian, the Christian delusionists. I prayed to God, and then the next day I received a $15,000 check in the mail. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. There's like a 1 in 2 trillion chance that's going to happen to you, and it's not going to happen. And then you're just waiting on your God, like, I'm still waiting. I can have faith and hope that it's going to happen. Or and then it goes to the last one, which is we'll just have faith and hope and just hope that that's going to happen. And I can keep that up for the rest of my life.
That obviously applies to MGTOW too, like through the marriage thing. Like these people, I think a lot of times they know deep down inside marriage is not a good move. And for some reason they listen to other people.
Right.
Telling them, hey, it's okay. Listen to a life coach and say, hey, you can get through this. These overly optimistic life coaches, all they're trying to do is get your money. That's all they're trying to do. Like this vegan Gaines, he's a total psychopath.
Yeah, God, that guy. He was in MGTOW for a while, wasn't he? He was around MGTOW, like lurking MGTOW, like trying to, because MGTOW from the outside, if you're looking from the outside and you have no idea what MGTOW is, you've probably been saturated by the press to think that we're all incels. We're all So when these guys come in, they're thinking all these guys are losers and they're incels and they're insulting us. If you were just like me, woo, you could be like just on top of the world. And then what they're saying is they think that there's something wrong with the way I live my life, and they think there's a problem. I mean, I've lived a totally happy life for like 15, 16 years now in MGTOW. That's unparalleled to anything else I see out there.
Yeah. No, they're dangerous. They're definitely dangerous. And they're, like I was saying, these YouTube, the personalities, they're they're very dangerous. I mean, they're just, again, giving out terrible advice, and then
Yeah.
you have these little snapshots of their lives through a 10-20 minute video or whatever, and like one of the things too about the vegetarian and vegan thing is a lot, like he was pointing out that a lot of them aren't even really vegans. They're portraying themselves as vegans, and meanwhile they're eating meat. When the camera's off, they're eating meat. So,
Right.
so like you run into stuff like that too, right? We run into that with MGTOW. We got guys that are in long-term relationships or PUAs, and they're saying they're MGTOWs.
Or they're taking protein supplements, and which is just meat. It's like
or whatever they're taking. Yeah, they're they're not who people are not who you think they are. Like they just have a facade that they're.
There's this facade that make up the what they're presenting to the people. Like I said, when I was 21, I would have had a great following on YouTube because I was a good-looking kid, and I was highly excitable, and I had a great personality, and that stuff. And I could come on and make up this Maslow's hierarchy lie, and it's like you could be like me and just we're gonna head toward self-actualization.
Well, Maslow's a real piece of crap, probably, because he probably had a lot of self-doubts and a lot of things that he didn't want to talk about because he had this image to portray on the pyramid, and you know what I mean. So he wasn't really academically really honest.
No, he wasn't. There was 4 figures at that time, and I always try to explain this. And there was this battle to the top. There was Maslow, and there was Freud, and there was Jung, and there was Adler. Now Adler was the guy I look at, and Adler was the head of the psychological council of the world, and so he was highly acclaimed. He had like 9,000 papers written about like most everything, and Maslow was like just this guy. He came up with this. He did a marketing scam on everybody, and he has one book, I think, that's if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's where that comes from Maslow, and then there was the sexual guy. What was his Freud? Everything is like your mommy did that to you, and you want to do your mommy. It's like no. And then Jung, which is highly believable. Most people that from that time will start reading Jung, and most people have no idea that Adler was out there.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're pushing. They're pushing all those guys. That's what the the Illuminati pushes. The Illuminati.
Because what's easier? What's easier, having to read endless copies of books to figure out what's going on in life and how to look at the reality of how things work, like in having to take college classes and do lectures and that stuff, or if you just believe in a triangle.
Yeah. So stupid. He tries to like simplify life. It's the same thing with these doctors that they give you a pill and they think, oh, take this pill and everything everything's going to be great, and that's not reality.
Yeah, in some instances there are, in penicillin, you just take this pill and you're going to be okay.
Right.
Calcium reducers, for me, it took like how many years for a doctor to figure out all that I needed in my life was calcium reducers, and get the calcium to dead skin and dead stuff out of my body, and
like a mental thing, a mental development. That's you got to dig in and do lots of counseling, and
you got to do counseling. You got to go to right groups, and I'll always say for guys, group therapy is great. That's what this is. This is MGTOW is group therapy for guys that have seen the reality of the world, and we when all those fictitious fantasy fiction things break down in your mind. And then you're stuck with some strange reality, and that's the bridge to nowhere. And you're standing at the edge of the precipice of just dark gloom and depression after everything falls apart. That when your life crumbles, or at least your existential life, what you believed in crumbles, and you find out that all that was a lie, and that's where you're going to be at MGTOW. There's going to be some group. Do the MGTOW group therapy, talk like this with the men, MGTOW is a great place where you can develop groups, and we do that. And every group in MGTOW, every person in MGTOW gravitates to a specific group of men. And I know all you guys, every guy in here has a specific group that he talks to daily. And that's great. That's what it's about. It's about, there's better ways in talking through and figuring out how do we replace all this garbage that we've learned in the past. How do you deprogram yourself from the Christian cult? This big one of the big things. How do you deprogram yourself from the Christian cult? I mean, you got to remove deconstruction, remove all that skepticism. We find existential ways to put more truthful topics on the table. We talk about them. Is this the truth? Is this the truth? And you know how far I go with that, Joey.
Well, you can't. What they try to do is they try to simplify things like, "Oh, you just lack faith." I mean, that's just such a hope argument. Yeah. You need to have more faith, or you need to pray more, or these little silly things that don't do anything for you. But that's how they try to explain it away. That's how they have their own little. It's like those Jehovah's Witnesses. They go knocking door to door, and they have like I remember when I was in college, it was just like a Church of God thing or what, I don't know. They were, and so I went to the Bible study with them, and they had an answer. So they had like this thing where they had they made their members memorize like all these questions people could possibly ask them, and they had the scripture and the quote like, okay, what's your question? And it's like they wouldn't organically answer it. They would say, let me look it up. Let me look it up on the. They had like a set pat answer for every question that could possibly come up.
Right. That's apologetics.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah. Apologize. What is it? So they would, that's obviously a sign that there's something wrong there.
Yeah. Now in the Christian courses now, they didn't teach it when I was. You just went to Bible study and you studied the Bible and you tried to run it through the Greek, the 4th century Greek, so you come up with what they were actually saying, and then that was pretty much the New Age Christian stuff that I was witnessing when I was younger and believed in that. And I'm highly dedicated to anything I do. So when I do those things, when I did those things, I did them with a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's all based on this hope and faith. And you know what I seen like last year or something? I seen even car commercials and stuff like that. I seen Honda or Toyota or something was hit. They had the magic faith in the trunk, and she opened the trunk, and it's like the guy was saying, we guarantee you're going to be so happy with this car that down the line it's going to have no problems. And it's in the trunk, and they open it up, and there's like they did the commercial where the like just this ray of sunshine came out of the trunk, and they're like, ooh, look. And that's self. Like, you are never going to have another car problem in your life. No, yes, you are.
Yeah.
You are going to have some kind of problem 2 years later with your vehicle because of the mechanics of a car is always going to break. But they were selling metaphysical faith. It's like,
it doesn't cost them anything.
It doesn't cost nothing. Yeah, it costs you nothing except for buy this guarantee for $3,000, and then we'll finance that. Which is just funny. I was watching it, and I just started laughing. I was like, and maybe most people won't catch it. And there's a certain population of people that don't think in negation. They have no ability to negate things, and you got to look at it. It's like I just started laughing. But I do that all day with TV. That's why I try not to watch too many TV commercials and everything, and too much TV. I watch more TV now. I just finished up the last episode of Fringe.
Okay, how's that? What's that about? I never heard of it.
It's about time travel and stuff like that, and they went into the I did all 5 seasons over the winter because there are episodes I could just turn it on and just kind of wash my dishes or do the things that I need to do during the day. And there was like 100 episodes, 1 hour, so that took 100 hours of some kind of sound in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, I watched what was that with Jennifer Garner, because like I just wanted like Jennifer Garner. It's like Alias. I did over the winter, over Corona. I did the whole thing of Jennifer Garner and Alias, and then Fringe.
Yeah.
It's like, and but I will tell on myself because it was Corona and we weren't allowed to go to the bars or go out or do anything or go to eat every night, and that's usually my thing is we will go for breakfast or we'll go for a lunch or we'll go for a dinner every day, and you're not allowed to do those things anymore. And so it was like TV. I'm sitting in front of like, how do I work this thing? I realized that I haven't watched TV since 2000, right around 2009. So I had a lot of shows to catch up with.
Yeah. Me too. Like I never, like Breaking Bad. They're like, oh, you got to watch this show, Breaking Bad. And then I started watching it. I thought it was stupid. I don't know. I didn't like it. I just thought
Yeah, the whole premise irritates me of a high school teacher that starts making meth is like, well, that's not something that we want to talk about, is that?
Yeah.
And somehow this should be a hero of yours.
Right. I thought he was a little punk ass bitch, really, what he was.
Now I think I've seen the favorite character come back to reality. There we go. My favorite character in Breaking Bad was the black guy that was in charge. He had this personality that you could just see was like ooh, that's kind of interesting personality.
Yeah, I don't know which one. The one that ended up getting blown up or something? Or?
Yeah, I think he'd probably end up getting killed or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that show at all. I don't know.
Yeah, it was not. I wouldn't watch that. I wouldn't binge watch that. That would hurt my brain.
Yeah, but the general public, they love it. Oh man, that was such a great movie, like such a great show. I mean, like The Sopranos. That was a really good show, right? Because that could, I thought it was. Well,
there's a difference between the general public, and this is what we kind of talked about. And SFM hit on this really good. He said if you're watching TV for entertainment value or just to keep some kind of sound in the background, and then so once in a while you catch an interesting topic or something, that's okay. Right. You're supposed to minimize that. But if you're watching TV for escapism,
yeah,
because you can't go outside, because you don't go to the park, because you don't socialize, because you don't find interesting things to do, then there's a problem. And you could do that 24/7. There's enough TV shows out there where you can fill your life 24/7 with fantasy fiction.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And that's where most people live anyway. They live in the fantasy fictional world.
Right. And there's so much interesting stuff to do. Like I say, you go right now, you can't go to the park, or most people can't go to the park. Most Northerners aren't going to go to the park now because they're not plowed. And I'd like to, because I like to see the beautiful ice sculptures and stuff that come off the falls in this area and stuff like that. But they won't let us down there. I'd like to get some pictures and show you guys, like, wow, this is the environment around my area. But they won't let us do that. So, and even now, right now is one of my favorite times. Every Friday, we're going to go get fish now. And the fish fries are starting up, and then but you have to deal with the Christians, but it's where they have like 300 people in an auditorium eating fish. It is always like, if you're a people watcher.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you're a people watcher, that's the place you want to be. 300 Christians in an auditorium eating fish, but they do a good job with the meal, and I know it's a part of it's gonna, like, if it's $16 a dish, then a part of that's going towards the church. And I always say we should support our local churches and stuff like that, because there's a portion to that people do need, like the group therapy option of it, and there are some really hurt people out there that need to do that.
Yeah. Well,
No,
that's one of the positives. I guess that's one of the positives of a church meeting. Like
yeah, there are
community
positive,
together.
the group therapy aspect of it, and the old ladies sitting down there that have
Yeah.
lost everything in life and they're just waiting for their death. Hey, I'm not going to take that away from them. I would say veterans come back from the wars, and like myself at that time, church was a pretty good option where I can sit there and mull over what I wouldn't take that from them. You can get forgiveness for some of your transgressions in life and put those in the past. Hey, you could do that in a group therapy course too somewhere with but hey, if that's the way you want to do it, then I'll never take that away from people. I just don't believe in I just find that when I worked myself all the way through the MGTOW process, I don't believe in nothing fantasy fiction anymore.
No. And that's the biggest fantasy fiction, well, not the biggest, but are these life coaches that have everything, everything they have all everything, everything works.
Everything works perfectly as long as you have no problems.
Yeah. They drive their car in the traffic and they never have any problems with other drivers. And they find a parking spot every time they go somewhere, and they never have it. They date somebody. They all if the relationship breaks up, it breaks up peacefully. And but we know that's not the reality.
That's not the reality of life. There's problems. You're going to have problems. This is a world full of entropy. Everything dissolves. Everything busts. Everything is going to be over, and you're going to have to. Your parents are going to die. Siblings are going to be lost. Your friends are going to be, leave, and even the entropy of friendship is, sooner or later, this friend ain't going to be a friend. You got to know when to cut strings on, and stuff like that. That becomes very complex, and it becomes very important for us all to know our boundaries, have good reasoning and critical skills to be able to release those things when they need to be released. Like you said, relationships and stuff like that. The best thing to do is know when they're to be released. And I know a lot of guys do that things. It's like a simp hangs on to something that's broken.
Yeah, you got to cut ties, definitely, especially with those old neighborhood friends that you know what I mean. They got bad habits and they're trying to lure you in, and
right. And I went through that where I'll just say Johnny's over there, and Johnny's smoking crack. He's been my friend all my life. I've known him, and all of a sudden he starts smoking crack, and I think I can cure that because he's my friend, and I love my friends. It's like, no, that's something you're going to have to put away and not try to fix. If he's going to get help, he's not going to get help here because he's going to have to fix that within counselors and drug rehab. And I've done enough drug rehab in my life to know that you get down there, do that.
Yeah, that's that codependency thing that we always fight against.
Yeah, the codependency thing. I was a drug counselor for a while in my life, and
but if you were like Maslow, you wouldn't have to deal with it because he never had codependency issues.
Yeah,
actualized.
Yeah, when we look at those that Maslow's hierarchy thing, what are the? Let me look that up, so I don't have it offhand. And there are steps to that too, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so retarded. I just couldn't. I had to put it aside. Like belonging, I know was one of them somewhere. I don't know. So.
Yeah, some of them are really ridiculous. It's just like, and it forms itself to.
Let me pull it up. Yeah, I'll pull it up too. Hold on.
Yeah, it forms itself into. First you have your psychological needs, your physical.
Yeah, Maslow was up for tenure, so he needed to publish a paper. So he figured that's why he did this.
Yeah. First you have your physiological needs: air, water, shelter, sleep, clothing, and that's all like why the yeah that's this thing kind of works in the opposite way of you think it's going to work too.
Mhm.
For some people, having your physiological needs met is the major problem.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Air, water, so sleep, clothing, and that's kind of common sense in the society we live in. We have homeless men; they don't have shelter. They're not sleeping well. They don't have enough clothing. Uh, and but at the end one is reproduction.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to reproduce. That's not a
Yeah.
real thing that's going to help you in life. Reproduction has no psychological magic. It's not a psychological magic bullet. Uh, what's the next one? Safety needs, personal security, employment. It's like, yeah. Now that we're going to get into the slavery structures, uh,
Mhm.
health and property is just it's shelters. Property is shelter, and it's a human. I always looked at property as a human. It, it's it, it's just a human right. You build your house, and that's your house.
Right.
That's your property, and that's it. Nobody else touches that, or else there's going to be a tournament.
Love, the next one's really funny. Love and belonging.
Love and belonging. Why he put that in? It's like intimate,
Yeah.
family, sense of connection, friendship, and that just goes down the Christian line of. If you're a bachelor, you're like you're just laughing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Esteem. I mean,
yeah, self.
status. He
Yeah,
has status up there too, which is really, really fucking
right.
ridiculous.
Status, self-esteem,
Right.
recognition. If I'm recognized, I'm validated. Now, here's where
Right.
we go into this. You get validated because you got what? Because you did the love and belonging. I was validated because I have a family.
Right. Right.
I get my
Good
validation.
slave. You're a good slave.
You're a good slave. I've my freedom. Freedom is synonymous with. I'll always say this. Freedom is synonymous with serenity. It's freedom from what they're talking about. Freedom to.
And then they always say that self-actualization would be like people like Jesus or Buddha or whatever,
Right.
these mythological figures.
Then you can self-actualize, and what they're saying is this is the point where you can go to heaven, which is probably not obtainable on this terrestrial plane, but that's you can self-delude, and this is if you look at it, it's exactly what MGTOW says it is. It's the self. You can self-delude yourself into believing that you're having this great life,
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and then
again, you're not trusting yourself or your own how your own introspection.
right.
You're just going by what other people are telling you.
Right, and you're pretending you don't have no problems, and some of us do that. We pretend if a problem comes along, and I just don't. Mostly addicts will do that. Now, sex and relationship is the same kind of delusion where you're pretending that you don't have no problems, and
Yeah.
you can cover that up with you, you could take drugs or alcohol and do that and pretend that there's no problems, or you can take females and pretend like you don't have no. And that's the problem right there. That one love, and you're just pretending that the world's a friendly place when you're doing that. You're making up this fantasy fiction area in your life, pretending that everything's going to be okay. And as long as you stick in a group, and there's in group. This when it becomes the in group protection. There's protection in groups, and you have to be loyal to the group. You have to. There's in group loyalty, and that's morality, uh, and that's where it all kind of comes out. And as long as you stay in, but what happens with when all that comes crumbling down? That's what we ask at the end. What happens when all that? What happens when Claire decides to stab you, and you're left on that bridge to nowhere, and that was never real. And hypergamy works out great for her because she's moving up and out, and she's got like an income yours she can take with you. That doesn't leave you in a great place, and that thing fails you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it. Again, you're not trusting yourself, and looking out for your best interests, because
Right,
they're not looking out for your best interest. They're just looking out for their own.
right.
That's
And
what.
it seems like indoctrination to me, doesn't it? It's like you're looking for people. That's where the life coach indoctrination comes in. You're looking for people, and that's when they're insultive to us. MGTOWs, they come around here and they want to do this. They're looking for people that have problems so they can indoctrinate them into this fake thing.
Yeah.
Drag some
Well,
coin.
another idea is they're looking to help you solve the problems that they gave you. Like, you didn't realize you had a problem until they brought it up. Like, they're bringing up that you have this problem.
Oh yeah, that's what.
Like a guy losing his hair. Well, most real men, like, if you're a strong masculine man, you really don't care if you lose your hair. Really, I mean, it's like whatever. It happens. It's part of life. Something you lose your hair, and they're making it into this big deal that you're losing your hair, right? Or whatever. That's just a stupid example, but just this whole thing of like spirituality is definitely one they definitely get you on, because they say, oh, you have all these spiritual problems. Didn't you realize you have all these spiritual problems? And
you're
and then
spirituality.
Yeah, and that's what Christianity does a lot, because they try. Yeah, so they're giving you this sin. They're saying you're a sinner. They're saying you were even born with sin. So, there's nothing you can do about it. You're born with it. And then now here we have the answer. We have the answer to the sin that we gave you.
Yeah. Yeah. You can, what is that? You can buy forgiveness from them too.
Right.
Yes. As long as you believe in what they believe, and that's the in-group morality part of it. That's the whole thing covering itself. It's the apologetics of it. It's the whole group relationship thing. And in-group loyalty becomes ultimately important to them, because as long as you're in that bubble, you probably are fairly safe. You probably are in a good spot. You're in a good spot, at least, because you have you have the group taking care of you. You have the group doing that and everything. And this is where communal stuff often gets it often, politically and spiritually, them things are totally different. But it's an off the field argument, anti-communalism or whatever they call that. There's people that say MGTOW isn't a group. No, we are a very fine group. We're an eclectic group of men that have decided that a lot of those truths are untruths. But the whole thing plays into itself, and but there will be that point where you will be ostracized from the group. And that will be when Claire decides to stab you.
Yeah.
It's usually around the back area where you can't see it, and it opens up. Yeah. It opens up a large wound in your back, and then it's like, that's why I always say my one delusion in this life is like, what is it? That there's a hole in my back where you can look into it and see the universe.
Well, the rumor was she could throw a knife from 300 yards out with accuracy.
Yeah. There's no problem. She hits her target every time.
Yeah. So you just didn't know when it's coming.
Yeah. But hypergamy, they don't take into account for biological functions like we do. There's, hypergamy is the big killer of Christianity beliefs. She's moving up and out. Like we talk about baby mama has, baby daddy number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And she's a polygamist. She never believed in that religion anyway. She's polygamous. And when she decides to take the government as a parental and parentism, that's when you are ostracized from the group, and the group will see you. That's what it was. A surprising thing that happened when I got my divorce, that the group ostracized me instead of supporting me. But they had to, because I was representative of a problem within their whole theory.
Right.
I was that negation to the theory. I was that one thing that they didn't want anybody to see.
Yeah,
so it's been my fault. And that's just world fallacy. At that point, anything you got coming to you is just world fallacy. is a just world, and you did something. You didn't suffer enough, Joe, and I did suffer a lot. You were a bad man. You had no spiritual faith. That's why that happened to you.
You reap what you sowed.
You reap what you sow, Joey.
Yeah. That's so stupid. Yeah, let's go. This guy, he's really good. He made a comment like it was real controversial. You hear like treat people the way you want to be treated. He said no. He says treat people the way you don't want to be treated. He said that's how a lot of people function because that helps them get through life, like screwing other people over and doing all this stuff that you know what I mean? Because it benefits them and it doesn't benefit you. Like
Yeah.
like I don't know. I have to think that one over. But I don't know if there's truth to that or what. But he challenges a lot of conventional thinking because he was saying that these morals are all just they're man made. They're not really.
They're not made. Yeah, we could put MGTOW to the test on this thing too. Never in the I guess the argument or the premise of this thing is never join a group that has all the answers to your exit from the group.
Yeah.
We don't sit around and say and try to think of like do that apologetics. They have all the answers for why they're right as you're being ostracized from the group. Yeah. So I've run that truth test through my head, and I was like, MGTOW doesn't really do that, except for the one where we do Nico Chosky with MGTOW on MGTOW.
Oh yeah, Nico Chosky. Yeah, he doesn't come around, I think, because he's probably so embarrassed how things have turned out for himself. I would think that's the reason. There's no way he's like thriving in life, and I just don't see it. And because he's been screwed over somewhere. So some woman screwed him over somewhere, and if it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen. That's my guess of why he hasn't come around.
Yeah.
So I wish him the best. I
wish him the best. He's at Doctors Without Borders now, and he's probably doing really good work out there. And it's like, he was always he wants to be with every woman that he ever runs.
Yeah,
he's probably going to work up in his life, look back, and have Joe numbers here.
Yeah.
Man, I've been with so many women, I can't even tell you their names. And once in a while, want to walk by me and smile. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he was something else, huh?
He was something else. He's a horn dog.
Yeah.
But MGTOW's not going to let you down like that. If you're welcome to come, you're welcome to stay, you're welcome to leave, you're welcome to try that out. When you come back, please tell us your story. And,
it's 100% failure. If you leave MGTOW, 100% failure.
Yeah, we're willing to, listen, and we love these cautionary tales. Sometimes you bring back your cautionary tale because that's knowledge, it's experience, it's life. Bring back what's hot out there that I can't touch. Bring back the cautionary tales, and I can't tell you it's 100%. We've had one failure in MGTOW, and that concerns me.
Well, you're not that I told you so guy. Like I guess I am more.
Yeah.
I told you so.
Told you so. Yeah, I don't like to do I told you so. That's more like Christians, like
Yeah.
It's like I told you so. Jesus is the best thing, and you're not good enough. You're you failed, and that's the I told you so leads to the we were right all the time, wrong, and we are right when we do. We just biologically, sociologically, I run all these MGTOW things through truth tables, and we take criticism a lot. So that was Friday night. Fight Club was about come on in, give us your criticism. Let's see how my MGTOW philosophy doesn't work out, and it never has. No one's ever presented an argument to it. They present these face arguments like you're going to be lonely when you're dead, and it's like, no, I'm not.
It's nurses everywhere. There's whatever.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's not going to be a week where I don't go out and, like I said, I'm going to go up to the fish fry where all the Christians hang out and do some people watching, and we're going to have a great dinner. And I'm probably going to laugh with them, and
Yeah.
develop bonds with some of these people, and the store owners in the neighborhood and everything. No, there's never going to be a day where I'm lonely. You know?
No.
And that's just telling on yourself when you say like that. It's like you if you're looking to that thing where you think it's like you're looking at a malady that you seem to be telling about in yourself. Like, the worst thing in the world that could happen to these people is they end up sitting in a living room alone and having to read a book.
Right.
Which I do a lot. I sit there and I just read a book, and I keep my Audible on all the time. And a lot of times I'll be just doing something in the kitchen, fixing my dinner or something. I'm listening to Audible, and something will catch my. Well, I do a lot of the higher, level books, and then it'll catch my imagination, and I'll just stop doing what I'm doing and listen intently, and it's like, and I'll go back over them and back over them to see it. But it's not like I'm such a miserable person where I'm being with myself. I always say I'm with my favorite person in the whole world, myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's where you want to be. I mean, well, then again, these life coaches are telling you, oh, it's not good. You're all by yourself. It's not good. It's not, let me show you how you can, work on that, or, but no,
Yeah,
being by yourself's a good thing. That's you
being by
learn more about who you are, and
if
yeah,
you're a responsible, productive person where everything's taken care of, and you know what it is too. A lot of people within the social program of religiosism kind of protects the people that can't be alone because they can't pay their bills, because they're addicted to things, because they need help from other people, and our society takes care of these people where
mhm,
but these people can definitely not run a household on their own. These people can't be with themselves. They're so neurotic being in a living room with themselves and having the stress of, I got to pay this electric bill, I got to pay this gas bill, I got to keep my water on, I got to keep a roof above my head.
yeah.
That's difficult for them.
My brother used to have this kind of thing. He used to say, like, because I don't know, like this girl he was dating, like the neighbors would they would were these Christian people. And I don't know. I don't think they had a lot of money or whatever, but the guy would always say, like, they'd be behind on the rent, and they didn't have money for like basic stuff, and he'd go to my brother, the Lord will provide. The Lord will, and
Yeah,
every month he would just get further and further behind on his bills,
yeah.
and
How does that work out?
yeah,
Whole house full of these people. You have 4 or 5 people living in a house. I wish I had 4 or 5 people around here that I could trust, because that means I would have 1/5 the bills.
right, right. You would figure, but there's always going to be one or two slackers, so even
Yeah,
1/3 of it's
their
okay.
society and the Christian society is often picking up for the poor, and these people are poor of nature and poor of character too. They they don't know
Yeah,
instead of going out getting a job or taking
right,
care of financially whatever they need to take care of. These people aren't
right,
responsible. They're smoking crack. They're
right.
drinking alcohol. They're spending it on prostitutes, and they're most of these young men that should be contributing to the household, so everybody else has they're out running around with girls, and paying for you know that female thing costs money, and
Yeah,
they want to bring that female that's irresponsible to begin with into their household where they're having problems to begin with.
right. It's a dependent. It's just another dependent. It's another
Another,
bill. It's another big bill.
their whole society is built on dependency,
Right.
and dependency never taught anybody how to live independently like me and you. Uh,
Yeah.
That's
Well, just think of women as more bills. That's more bills coming. Like, is that what you want in your life, or more bills?
yeah, bring it into that kind of situation where she's not going to be part of the part. And the Christians lie about this, like, oh, she's going to be a part of the
Yeah.
she's going to help. She's going to pay half to. I've never met one of those in my life.
Right.
It's like,
It's such a scam.
yeah,
I love bash. I could bash Christianity like 24/7
right.
because I was really into it. I was really into it, and I believed it. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Like, looking back, I don't know what I was thinking.
This too is a transitional house, here, and I see there's men that come through here all the time, and and these men are the same kind of men we talk about. We just had our latest failure, but these are men that believed in Christianity. They're dumped out now. They don't know how to pay their bills. They don't know how to make their own bed. They don't know how to. These are men that believed in that. They walked into that traditional thing, and then oh yeah, it's like they have so many life problems now because, well, one of their life problems is you're paying 2/3 of your pay to someone else now because of those things from the past, and they are men that generally aren't going to understand a lot of. I mean, a lot of these guys that come through here, they've never paid a bill in their life. They don't know how to set up their computer where they go on and they pay their bills monthly.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes on a computer. They have no idea. Most of them, some of them, man, I don't know how many don't have driver's license because they don't have a social security card because they can't figure out where their birth certificate is.
Yeah.
Them kind of problems.
Yeah.
I mean, them are problems of immaturity. And
Yeah, exactly. Like little kids. Like, yeah.
little kids. Now that's where we see in the remnants of MGTOW out there. We see these men that men are thinking about before they even get some simple life things in order. They're like, I got to get a girl. I got to get, yeah, of course.
Yeah. They do everything backwards. Like, that's the last thing that you want, right? Right. They make that into their priority.
Yes, because
Right.
me and her, we're going to get pregnant, and then it's like she's going to be helping out half, and that'll make my life better. No, she's not.
See, I was never like that. My priority was trying to establish like a decent career where I can have a decent income, and this is when I was a tradcon. Like, that was my thinking then. As well, let me establish myself with a good job, good career. But luckily, I got to that point where I realized that women were dependents, and I never
They are dependent, and
I got lucky. Most people do it the other way around. You're right. They make the chick. Yeah, they don't make themselves the priority and what they want to do with their lives. They make the chick the priority. Finding a hot chick. Ooh, a hot chick. I found a hot chick. Even though she's wearing all this makeup and dresses like a whore, to them it's like, oh, I'm accepted by the community.
Yeah, I'm accepted by the community. That's where the community is a community of dependent people that they all depend on each other for.
Like Kanye West. Look at him. Look at Kim Kardashian brings nothing to the. What does she bring to the table? She's a total dependent. She's not intelligent. I don't think she's attractive. I don't know. Some guys find her attractive. I don't know how you can be attracted to someone who wears all that makeup and has silicone up her ass. I mean, I don't know. I just don't find that attractive. But some people, But anyway, she's a total dependent. She's a perfect example. She has no what's her career achievement in life? Doing a porno movie. I mean, she has brings nothing to the table. And yet Kanye West, there's this highly successful guy, self-made millionaire, and he's with this whore.
Yeah, you thought that was a good idea.
yeah, he thought that was a good idea. Exactly.
Wow, this guy wants to run for president on traditional values. He wants to run for president on traditional values, and he thought marrying Kim Kardashian was a good idea.
Yeah, a total slut. Yeah, that's what she is. Total slut.
Oh my God, that's a.
She should have married Queen Latifah. She would have helped him fight crime or something.
Yeah, fight crime with the judo chops and stuff. She can judo chop a 260-pound man right down on judo chop. There goes the legs.
Yeah, She helps people that can't help themselves, Joe. That's Queen Latifah's tagline on her new show on CBS.
I can't help that. Well, that's more dependency. It's like,
Those commercials crack me up with Queen Latifah.
yeah, you know, the United States government makes more homeless people than it's like if they don't have like 17 to 21% poverty in this nation, they create homelessness. They create those problems so they can help people that can't help themselves.
Yeah.
That's the same idea. It's like our country is crazy.
It's insane. Absolutely.
And that's basically the baby mama system. It's like, oh, are you irresponsible? Yes, come here. It's like you could just be an irresponsible polygamous female that can run through men and get pregnant by every one of them, and they're going to take care of you. And it's going to cost men that it's going to cost all those men that they run through their very freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. The absurdity of our system is just overwhelming sometimes. It makes my brain hurt.
Yeah. You got to separate yourself from it the best you can.
Right. Separate yourself, and they would like you to be in that class. They want to drag you down. It's the old adage of, I say America makes more homeless and impoverished people than they help. They want you to be that 40% that doesn't have $400 to take care of a sudden bill. They want you to be part of that class, and they will help you to do that. They overtax you. They take. There's just several different ways they do that. We talked about what happened in 1972 and 1978. They got rid of the Polygamy Act. They got rid of the no fault divorce was introduced. Equality, the equality bills were taken as this is how you should live your life, and there's a lot of things that happened at a time where we can see that traditionalism was collapsing. That's why it was. But instead of doing the right things, moving in a positive direction, man, the government had to protect itself.
Yeah, they do it. They do it in subtle ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
they definitely don't have your best interest in mind. That's for damn sure.
What better way to make
so obvious to people?
Yeah. What better way to make extreme poverty is to let polygamy run rampant by females, and then you can have baby daddy number 1, 2, 3, and 4, all slaves, all living in poverty now.
Yeah. Well, this track, I remember I talked to a track cuck years ago. He's like, oh, I'm getting married now. Yeah, everything doubles. Like the income doubles now because my wife and we have 2 incomes now.
If that's true, then say me and you moved into a house together. Is that any less true for a single guy to move in with a buddy?
No.
It's the same thing. It's like, yeah, single guys move in together all the time and split. And you know what? Most of them split the bills.
Yeah. I had a family member. He was like, his wife would just run up his credit card. Like the guy was was a construction guy. He worked his ass off, and then she would just rack up all these credit card bills because.
Right, there's a problem with entitlement. She thinks she's entitled to reach in his wallet. Now, if your buddy moved in with you tried to reach in your wallet and say, "I'm going to use your credit card," what would you tell him?
Yeah, you tell him to F off.
Go get out of there. Give me that. And that's the focus we lose on what happens when these things happen in relationships. You get trusting. She runs up your credit cards. She gets demanding. She gets entitled. You got to be better. You have to suffer more. I need a credit card.
Right.
And you're going to be the responsible party paying that.
Yeah, that's right. They want a free ride. That's what women want. They just want a free ride, and they get it. 99.9% of them get it. They get the full. Yeah.
Yeah, I always said you should treat if these guys are going to go down there these things, you should treat a female like you would treat anybody else walking by on the street. Would you ask them? Would you ask them to borrow their credit card? No. Would you? Would you pay for something or buy them something that? No, you wouldn't. Would you? Would you ask that person, like if a random girl is walking by here, just, hey, I'm going to have sex with you? No, you would not ask those things. When you're in a relationship with another person, you should treat them as if they're a person that you just met at the grocery store.
Yeah.
With the same kind of respect, with the same kind of with the same kind of hesitations and fears about what this person is, and that's it. That's kind of Joe's rules about life. Any friends or even family or friends, family, people that I meet that want to, because them problems always start with "I trust you," and people are not trustworthy.
No, I knew a guy who got married, and like his wife was like looking into his phone, like one of the first things she did. Like, how disrespectful is that? Looking through somebody's phone. I mean, because phone is like a big deal these days. And you have a lot of information in there, and
yeah, you got your reports, your banking, everything is on your phone.
Yeah.
I use that. I use my computer, which is I think is safer, but everything's right there. And
yeah, that's really strange, man. And this guy was like single for like 40 years. He got married and he was 40. How much of a fool can you be? It's like you had it. You had it. You had the good life. And then he picked up a dependent. And I remember talking to him last time I talked to him. He was like regretting getting married. Like within a year, he was regretting his decision because he lost all his freedom. Like he lost all his ability to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Like he was used to that for all those years.
Why are things going south now? They ask. It's like it should be better. Yeah. And his response, most males' response to adversity is, "I'll just work harder. I'll just suffer more. I'll get
suffer more." Yeah, and then it's never enough. Like I was telling you yesterday.
Yeah.
No, it's never enough. It'll just get to the point where it's you're either gonna have a heart attack and die.
Because they never spot the initial problem, and the initial problem is you brought a dependent in your life.
Right, and then you're either gonna die, you're gonna get hospitalized, or it's gonna end in the divorce where you're gonna lose a lot of money. There's nothing good that can come out of it. Absolutely nothing.
There's nothing good. And how many of those men that they get wounded, they get somewhat for some reason their physical capabilities and they need a short period of recovery. It's like how many of those men that end up getting divorced right at that point?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to try to hopefully get some men that start making better decisions.
Right.
But listen to the life coaches, not like we're not life coaches. We're not claiming here that we have all the answers. And
I'm not giving fake. Self-actualization.
Yeah.
Do it Joe's way.
And my last long-term relationship was about 15 about 17 years ago. That was my last long-term relationship, and I've had a lot of short-term relationships, and I that's something I'm working on, my own introspection. Not being transparent with everybody is like, that's something that I'm working on is trying to even get away from short-term relationships, which I'm talking about less than an hour,
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, but I'm like 6'4", like 250, whatever. So I can handle myself. So I'm not gonna run into too many problems. But even with that, even with the short-term relationship with some of these women, you're gonna run into some issues. So even then, it's probably still the risk assessment is probably it's not even worth doing a short-term relationship. Like my father taught me, hey, just take a shower. You'll save money. Just take a shower. If you have to take care of things, take a shower. But I'm going 17 years on no long-term relationship, never been married. So I come from a pretty good, background in terms of talking MGTOW.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And here where I'm a life trauma coach, I can help you, deal with stab wounds that you've
you've been stabbed. You've been stabbed. See, I've never been really stabbed, and I mean, I've only gotten into maybe one or two serious situations over the years that I could, it wasn't even for I was concerned for their safety. I had to walk away from that situation, or else I was gonna do something stupid to maybe hurt myself in the long run. Because I have no criminal record. I never will have one. I'll never put myself in that position. Especially now with the knowledge I've gotten through MGTOW, I'll never be in that situation. Because when I'm in a situation where there's a boisterous woman around, or there's a simp around that's acting crazy, I just get the hell out of that situation. I'm not dealing with this. Yeah, I'm not dealing with it.
Exit. I exit. Go away. There's lots of places that could be, provide much more serenity than sitting around where there's drama.
Right. You have to be the one in control and empower yourself, and that's why I don't go to bars anymore. I don't remember the last time I've been at a bar. It's been going on probably close to 15 years. I don't even want to be around those types of people.
Yeah, I like to go for the chicken wings, and the chicken wings always draw me back.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's a good reason, But I insist. Like when I go into Buffalo Wild Wings, like, you want to go to the bar? I say absolutely not. I'll wait an hour if I have to for the table. Well, that reminds me. That reminds me. I haven't been there in a while. Maybe I'll go. Maybe Tuesday they got 2-for-1, so I'm gonna have to.
Okay, yeah, I love the 2-for-1.
What's your favorite sauces? What are your favorite sauces? I like spicy garlic. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I like the spicy garlic too, and I like the jerk, the Asian jerk, and then the regular their house medium is pretty good at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, you mean Caribbean jerk?
Yeah, the Caribbean jerk, and the garlic ones are always great. The butter garlic,
Parmesan garlic or spicy
garlic. Oh God, that was good.
I'll have to get out there. I'll have to take a drive out there because you're not that far from me. So I know we've been saying that for the last few years, but I got to get out there because I might be moving back down to Texas. So if I before I head out there, I have to so maybe we'll get together, grab some wings because I love their wings. I always get the flats too. I don't get I don't like the drumsticks as much. I like the flats.
Yeah, I was going to move down to Texas and become a life coach for snowstorms now. I got so much experience from Ohio, and these people have no experience down there with snowstorms. I was going to do life coaching, like how to deal with driving in the snow. I give a driving snow lectures and how to deal with properly insulating your house so you don't have these problems, moving your plumbing from the outside walls to the inside walls so your plumbing doesn't freeze, stuff like that. I mean, I could start a whole industry on this, I think.
Yeah, I only charge $50 an hour. You get a discount, Joe.
Yes, I'll give you an hour. I usually charge $117 an hour, but for you guys, I can give you $50 an hour because I'm altruistic. Yeah.
I remember talking to some guys. I was traveling and doing Airbnb, and this one guy was from Australia, Asian guy from Australia, and he's like, he knew a little bit about MGTOW. I said, who do you listen to? He goes, Coach Greg Adams.
Coach Greg Adams.
And I started do the cringy thing in my stomach, and
yeah,
and then the other one was like Red Pill Mindset or something. I don't know, one of these fucking guys,
Well, that's the dating coaches, like how to, and they're never. It's like that's how to introduce risk in your life and eventually get screwed over because that's how they make babies.
They're they're selling, like we said, they're selling the false hope. That's really
physical hope. Yeah.
Yeah, that's their number one sell is false hope.
Man, I got buckets of faith in the back if anybody wants to buy some.
Yeah. I'm selling this metaphysical idea that doesn't cost anything. It's not a tangible thing. So right. That's how you make money. You make money on these things that are not tangible. There's no manufacturing costs. There's no distribution costs. Yeah. I mean, they're not even writing books. So,
No.
they're not even, so there's no cost to print anything. It's just, we're just selling you this idea, and you talk to me you're just taking a little bit of my time on a a Zoom meeting or something, and I'll charge you $100 an hour or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So
Who are some of your other favorite life coaches that piss you off? Well, Hoka's kind of a life coach in a lot of ways. He tries to act like one too.
it's like, just believe that you're a TFL. And so,
Well, Hoka did walk on water,
yeah, he did.
so he's got like a track record of accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah, Hoka should have stuck with Roller Steve. He was such a popular. Roller Steve was like total popular. It was like he had 30,000 fans, and he like
Wow.
30,000 subs back in the day too. Roller Steve was really popular.
What was that about? I wasn't too familiar with that.
That's what Steve was. He was the marathon runner.
Oh, okay.
He was doing all his marathon running, and he was Roller Steve, and
Yeah.
and then he got into MGTOW, and then doxed Barbarossa and Stardust.
Yeah. That just tells you a lot about his character. I'm sorry. I know he took care of his mother, and I know he's got some good qualities, but you shouldn't do that kind of shit,
Yeah, and that was right fresh off the books. That guy had written a book on TFL, the original TFL author, and that was Coach. That was Alex, Coach Alex. I think he was the original author. I can't remember. Steve would know who the original author was on the TFL. He had the TFL book out, and that's when that was slightly before Barbarossa came around.
Oh, okay.
And we were still working through the horrors of Big John and the book Big John, and how to become a masculine male, and Neo. It was Neo. I can't remember the word for it. Neo. It was the Christian guys. So now the Christians got together, and they were gonna like fight for men's rights, and that didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, even like Zeta, I like Zeta a lot, and I was thinking about him the other day. I don't know, maybe I'm out of mind talking about it.
Zeta.
But he kind of came and went, and
that's what happens.
I don't know if his heart was really into MGTOW, I'll be honest with you. I really don't.
That's what happens. You get your MGTOW philosophy, and whatever you work it to, whatever lifestyle you have, and if it works out, then you just stay there. And this lifestyle works out for me, and it's the best place to be. And it's all unique and individual for every person. Yeah. Once you get into that comfortable area, like me, where I'm in that comfortable, I could have left years ago and say, "Hey, I got my MGTOW. I'm leaving now and go MGTOW on MGTOW," and just live life comfortably and not do the things that live it like I live it, and that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to take what's good and what works for you, and then if you want to leave, that's no problem. It's just you can stay around and give back what was freely given to you.
Right.
That's where I find myself. I try to give back what was freely given to me.
Yeah, you do a good job of that. I mean, like the guys I look up to would be like you, Warhorse, and probably even Johnny. Johnny's got he's got his the kid's got his stuff together. I mean, I think we're like similar age, but he's a really successful guy, and he's got a clear head, and he understands the game. He understands what's going on. And
yeah,
so
his dance can like spot a baby mama from like 200 feet away.
Yeah, he's got a good sense of humor. He's pretty much a legend. And Warhorse too. He's a guy. He's doing his own thing, and he's not afraid to tell people what he thinks. And I don't know. I respect guys like that, because for me, being in the corporate world, it's kind of like I always have to I have this filter that I have to that's put me.
Right. You have to
in that place where I got to watch what I say, or they're going to call my company, and whatever.
The gynocentric filter.
Yeah, I got that stupid filter thing where he was a mechanic and he ran his own shop and everything, and he can tell people to F off if he
Right. Independence, autonomy and independence always leads to a more honest person.
Right, and that's the best thing to do if you're a MGTOW. If you can get into some type of your self business, because that's the beauty of it too, is you really don't need to make a ton of money to have that be successful, because you're just supporting yourself.
No, I've been thinking about that lately a lot. It's like when I look out onto the resources of America, and there's just huge resources out there. It's about time for me to get out there and grab some of those again.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think you've done a lot of you've probably done more than anybody, I think, on MGTOW, like on YouTube. I mean, because with the podcast, I can't think of anyone else that's done more. You know.
Yeah, I've been around a long time, and I think it's a good philosophy. It leads to a good philosophy, and and it starts with deconstruction, and you can work your way up, learn about a lot of things. You can keep it going and see how this philosophy worked, the philosophy of Kant, the philosophy of Camus, and how this works into MGTOW. And all those guys have some brilliant things to say, or else they wouldn't be, uh, on the bookshelves. So
Yeah.
you can learn a lot. And it's a process that never ends too. It's a what's next and MGTOW thing. That's what gets a lot of guys. What's next? I'm doing this, but there seems to be some emptiness in their lives, and
Yeah.
just keep learning. I mean, that's it. Keep yourself open-minded and conscientious of others, and keep learning. Keep doing that thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
but work on your personality too. I think that's
Well, that's the thing. Like even a guy like Jeff, Jeff is a guy I talk to, at least once a week, and he's like a joy to talk to, because he's got,
yeah,
he's got a lot of joy. He's really thankful
right,
for where he's at, and he's not bitter about anything. He just he like looks at see the thing about him is he doesn't live in a fantasy fictional world. That's it.
right. He doesn't live in that. He knows the truth about a
Yeah,
lot of things. Yeah. No,
yeah,
it
yeah,
will help a lot of guys in MGTOW to move from an extroverted personality to an introverted personality to an extroverted personality. That's one of the easiest things to do. Just start talking to people around the neighborhood. Start talking to people in groups. Start talking to people in MGTOW. Try to be open and honest, and you'll find out that pays dividends.
yeah.
And that's a lot of people come in here and
Yeah, just be yourself. Just be yourself. I mean, it's the
they
thing.
don't
Just
know
be
how to
yourself. You
articulate
don't need
their
a life coach.
thoughts. And working on how to articulate your thoughts, I had to do that too. I couldn't talk at one point anymore, and I had to learn how to articulate my thoughts, and that helped with reading short books about philosophy, and it made a better cogent thought process for me.
You mean after your incident or before?
After my event, I couldn't talk. I couldn't hardly think, and I had to bring myself back from the worst of dark places back there, and
Yeah,
process. And that's where a lot of guys are. They're depressed. They're in a dark place. They don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And that's where try to learn the first step. Like I was horrified to go out and talk to people. I was like, I didn't want. Man, I was so skeptical about where it had left me. I went out and I started going to the fish fries, doing the looking for going to the park was a big thing. I didn't know the park really existed. That was some magic place because I never went to the park because I was always working, because I was always taken care of. I was always with the family. This park, wow, this is a magic place where there's people that are friendly and honest, and you can go take a class, or you can go learn about park things, which are generally things in your natural world. And I started doing that, and in a clean and honest. It's not like going to the bar and
Oh yeah. Oh,
uh,
that's so true. Yeah, when they're walking their dogs and smile at you, and
yeah, that's a cleanness. You get a clean, honest education about the world you live in down in your park system. And if your park system's like mine, they offer classes, they offer events. You go down there and there's going to be a band playing where they're going to offer drinks and at certain points and in the music areas and that's a whole different world opened up for me. And I was like, wow. And
farmers markets are good too, like farmers
markets, get some natural food. Going investigating outside of the city areas too. That's where you can find I go out now and I'll take a ride. Maybe I try to be cautious and careful about things I do. But when I do take a ride, and generally my ride it takes me about 10 minutes to hit where there's nobody living anymore. You go look around, see what the world outside of the city's like. Or stop, get some tomatoes and
yeah. I remember when I was in LA, they had these farmers markets in like the middle of Hollywood. Like they had these like tents.
Yeah.
And so me and my buddy went. It was like the best time. They have live music and it was just a lot of fun, man. It's like, because people are just relaxed, It's like they're just getting away. Like they just kind of created this thing in the middle of the city with all these tents and everything and food and food and it was just a good time. I was like, man, I remember that was like one of the best days I had when I was out there, just going to that because we just went on a whim. We just saw what the hell are all these tents doing here?
All these tents. Go investigate, be extroverted, and go talk. To them, figure out what's going on there.
Because
take you out of a dark world into a place where where I didn't know this when we went down to this one farmer's market and they had glass blowing classes and the people were down there doing that. And I was like, wow, fascinating. I want to take one. What do you think about, there's a question, what do you think of the guy, the MGTOW money thing, like the money life coaches?
Yeah, freaking idiots.
They really give any, like we talk about stock markets and stock sometimes here. We talk about investments once in a while. It's all risk. There's a risk involved with your money and everything. Saving, I'd say like the big thing is if you're in a corporate situation where you have corporate 401s and everything, try to move your money to a banking 401 where you're the manager.
Right. You want to be your own manager. That's exactly right. Because when you start trusting these people, there's so many scammers out there.
Right.
That now I know I have a family member who just, he just got really lucky. Like, okay, he just found an investor. He found this advisor from Merrill Lynch and the guy made him a ton of money and whatever. But to me, he just got lucky. Like I don't even think he realized the risk he took by trusting this guy. It's like, and I have another friend who's even got more money than him. And this guy's a multimillionaire and he got screwed for about, I don't know, I think it was $30,000 or $40,000, but he trusted a friend that was a financial advisor.
Right. And
I was telling him, I said, you can't do that anymore. You're smart enough to manage your own money. And
be smart enough. There's apps and everything that you can manage your money. Personally, I go on CNN every day. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not a money manager. I don't know too much about it. I know common sense prevails a lot.
Well, yeah. Well, there's the best web place I can direct you will be there's a place called Tasty Trade.
Okay,
it's really good. This guy Tom Sizenoff, he's he's got his little quirky little things he does too. But the main thing is you want to empower yourself.
Empower yourself. Learn.
Because when you start giving your hard-earned money to these financial advisors, they don't know any more than you do.
No, they just.
They have analysts that give them like directives on this. This is the stuff. So Merrill Lynch will have the guy that you're working with at Merrill Lynch, for example, he's not even analyzing the stocks. They have an analyst from Merrill Lynch that says, oh, these are a list of 20 stocks that we're going to push.
Yeah. Now when I lost all my money to Amron, the thing was charges. They ate up.
Yeah, the transaction fees. Yeah, the fees. Yeah, or not the the management fees.
Yeah, the management fees were huge, and they ate up everything eventually. And I was being complacent and just thinking that they were sending me fake. They were sending me things saying that this market had gone up 30% and this market had gone up and everything, but they were eating more than the 30% up and transaction fees and management fees and everything. And at the end, they sent me a big list of like, you're broke. And it's like, how can that be?
Right. What's worse, if you're not careful with the stock market, if you start messing around marginal trade, like I was doing Charles Schwab, I was doing Charles Schwab, and you can end up owing them money. Like,
Money, right?
You think you got this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand in there, and then next thing you know, you start messing around with marginal trading, you don't know what you're doing, then next thing you know, you got a bill for 30,000, you owe them 30,000.
Yeah, you owe them
How
money.
the hell that happen? So you got to be really careful, and you got to know what you're doing, because I think what it is, you want to keep your position small. I think like, okay, so you don't want to like say you got 50 grand to invest, you don't want to like buy one stock for 50 grand. You want to buy maybe $2,500 of that stock, and then maybe pick another 10, 20, 30 stocks, do your own research, and then just, that's how you can build it that way.
Yeah, they made millions off of me. I mean, and
Yeah.
I didn't make poor stock choices either. I made really good stock choices, and it's still, it was, I would say, get a bank account, put your money in a bank account. It's only going to pay 2.5% now. Make sure you have enough, just be a regular person. Don't think, if you want to move, if you see something that's exciting and you want to move some money into that, and you've done your research on it, do it. And, don't lose, take $10,000 and invest in something that if you see something that's selling at 17 that could go over 600, that's a good investment. And if
you got to understand the ebb and flow of markets. You got to understand, like now, like real estate's pretty high, like in general, right?
And a lot of times these companies are right in your general area, like in Cleveland, and you can investigate companies more efficiently from what you know about the company, talking to the employees in the company.
Right. But the stock market was created by the rich for the rich.
For the rich. They make a lot of money. They doesn't mean you're included. You're the sap. You're the sucker.
Right, you're the sucker. The people, if you're not, you're pretty much the sucker. Now, there's some people who will claim, but I made a lot of money in the stock market. Yeah, but most of the time, you just kind of got lucky.
You got kind of people got lucky, and if it wasn't for enacting legislation, then there would have been no Bitcoin. And if they would have legislated the other way on that, you would have lost everything.
Well, Bitcoin's not like people. What's it, over 50,000 now? You got to be out of your mind to jump into Bitcoin now. I mean, but but people will do it.
Yeah.
I think you got to be out of your mind, but like Vention,
the billionaires are propping it up right now.
I know Vention was pushing it, but it's a total. I don't like it. I never liked it.
Just think of when that thing crashes too. The billionaires are propping it up, and they're
probably, it's gonna crash. Oh, don't worry, it'll come down.
They're gonna bet against it, and then it's gonna be a short sell.
Yeah, they're gonna make money on it. They'll make money on the way up and on the way down. That's what they always do, and they always never gonna change.
You know why? Because they can, and they're allowed to steal.
Well, that's why it's important to have enough liquid cash. You always have to have enough liquid cash to cover your bills, okay? Because if you have money in the market and then your shit goes down, you can't panic. You can't panic and just, because people panic because they need the money. That's what happens.
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't need the money, then you don't care. You just leave it in there. You might have to wait 10 years to get your money back.
You might never recover from these things. I've never recovered from them. I mean, 47. My work career is pretty much over. I can't lift 300 pounds anymore. And then, like, there was 4 major events in my life at that point that just crushed me. And then you're going to be that guy that has nothing. I mean, man, I don't know what to say at that point in your life. These things are going to happen. Life is predatorial and entropy. You don't get to take nothing with you, and it's all designed to end. If you find something, I mean, basically,
I think the common man, if you have money to invest, the best thing to do is buy
buy a property. Just you know what I mean. Just
Yeah,
I would
you
say
get
buy property, and because that way you can manage it yourself. It's harder to manipulate a property.
right.
Because stocks are easy to manipulate.
A business that you can sell, like
Yeah, exactly. Like build a business you can sell. But the thing about the real estate, it's harder to liquidate it because when you want
right.
to sell it.
Yeah,
But but it's still better because you have actually control. It's a tangible asset. These stocks are all like it's it's just based on air. A lot of it. It's not
right.
even based on, like they're buying these stock. Like the stocks are manipulated. Not. It's not even based on fundamentals of profitability of a company.
Right.
It's based on the
Well,
noise on the street.
Ronnie,
Like Bitcoin is all noise. It's like because I was talking to JK about it. We were talking about how like a lot of these Bitcoin, you can't even use the damn thing in real life. You can't even use the Bitcoins to buy stuff.
yeah.
But I guess one of the big things now is that these stocks where you can buy real estate with Bitcoin, like a digital cryptocurrency to buy real estate. That's going to be the next big kind of thing because people are going to start buying real estate with it.
Right.
And so that might be something to look into.
Yeah, so it's all risky, and just know that it's designed for you to lose. And
Yeah, well, it's designed to. Yeah, exactly. It's you're giving your power to other people. You don't hand over your money. I've heard too many horror stories.
oh yeah, I mean,
I knew street smart guys that were running card games and all this shit, and they got scammed by this stockbroker on penny stocks.
mhm.
Like these little slime balls will, they got them for a couple $100,000, like
Yeah,
on these penny stocks, and like it's just stupid, just being stupid, like being greedy and stupid. So yeah,
penny stocks will pay sometimes, but man, you got to sit and sort through. Like, there's like 100,000 of those things, and you got to sort through the one and find a 1 in 100,000 that is not a guy scamming, because most of them are going to be some kind of scam app or some kind of scam business that's selling. You got to be able to spot those things, and you can easily do it. What I do on those is I'll hit it, and then I'll look, and then I'll go look it up, and I'll go, this guy's got an office in a fake office building here, and it's like, so yeah, sure, that's going to be work out. Life's a scam. 90% of 98% of the stuff out there is a scam. But finding that one gem, boy, if you do, I hope good luck.
Well, that's the thing. That's why you make a small investment. You don't have to buy 50,000. Just buy 2 or 3,000 and see what happens. I mean.
Yeah, you can make a decent amount of money if you put $3 into a penny stock that you believe in. You could. There's a face of the business that has. It's you can see the face of the business as character.
Yeah, like you don't want to have, like I would say I wouldn't go more than like 3%. Like if you have 100,000 to invest, I wouldn't. Let's just say 100,000. What I was throwing out there, but like, so I wouldn't invest more than like 3% of that into one stock. Okay, you don't want to have like 100. I got 100,000. I'm going to buy 2 stocks, 50,000 each. That's stupid. No, you want to buy 30 stocks, like at 3,000 each, right? Like that's a better play because the chances of each of those 30 stocks going bad is really slim.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what Seisnoff says. You want to keep your position small. That's how you protect yourself. Keep your position small.
Yeah. The place where I can't remember what it was called, and I was looking to it a lot when I used to, and where penny stocks and those stocks moved to the $17, $18 stocks and up to $26 stocks, and they have movement behind them. They have force behind them and everything, and those are pretty good things to look into. If you go through those, it's a reduced area where these have proven to actually make money, and that's a pretty good thing. I can't remember I'll look it up if somebody.
Like companies like AT&T, Verizon. I mean, they don't really have a lot of competition, right? And people are going to need cell phone. I mean, I can't think of like there's certain like Walmart. They're not going anywhere. McDonald's, they're not going anywhere. There's certain companies you can just kind of bank on. They're just but even then, you don't want to take a big position on any one stock, like I said.
Yeah, Taco Bell is going to be the place where everybody eats in the future.
Yeah, that's Yum Brands. YUM. That's Yum Brands. I had some of that. It's like $105 now. But
But that's his
you
Pepsi.
have to be smart. Like my uncle, he's just got lucky. He doesn't even realize it. Like I try to explain to him, he doesn't listen because he thinks this guy is like a genius, this Merrill Lynch guy, but he just got lucky.
He got lucky, and hey,
He got lucky. He's not. Yeah, he just trusted this guy, and then it gets to the point when you get to a certain age, you got to cash out. Hey, you got to cash out, and like how greedy are you gonna get? Like you can start enjoying your life a little bit, travel a little bit, do what you want to do.
yeah, back when I lost to Amron, I was in Amazon at that point.
Wow, I know that's crazy.
Yeah, I had, and that disappeared too.
Yeah.
It was I was in Borders. Borders sold to Amazon, and they still stole everything. So,
Yeah.
I should be, they as far as I'm concerned, they stole it, and they owe me $2.4 million. And if I ever get a chance to send a bullet attached with a note on it, I will.
but there's a lot of opportunity, like that Novavax. That was like a vaccine company, piece of shit vaccine company. They were like $3 or $4. Now it's like $300.
Yeah.
Because you just got to look at the news, because the news is, the news is manipulated.
I was just looking into that. I wish I would have Corvax.
And Novavax.
That might be a nice one to look into. Corvax is because the government just invested it. That'll be a Amazon scheme from there because the government invested in it. So
Yeah, these Chinese stocks too. They're like, I don't know. I guess they're gonna be.
Yeah, you got to be careful with
Yeah, I got scammed on a Chinese stock for
At the point years ago, I looked at Alibaba and I thought, wow, this can't possibly be good. And then now it's like, oh, I wish I would have.
Well, that's like 270, 265. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good stock. I have some of that stock. Yeah,
that started at what? That was one of the mid because there was real products, so it had a value.
Right. They have a lot of money. It's a $700 billion market cap.
Yeah.
But they can manipulate anything. That's what they do. That's the way it goes. That scam is always going to be there. The rich are always going to get richer.
Yeah, and I think they're doing that with Bitcom. I can see Bitcom just I think slated for death sooner or later. And
I think you're right. What
you can do about it. And it'll be the biggest story on the face of the planet for 10 years. But hey, that's the way things go. Look at Enron.
Yeah, exactly. Enron's a perfect example because of the accounting.
It was the accounting, and it was the people stealing, and it was, if you would have told me that an oil was going to bust, I would have laughed at you. And that'd be like the same way with Amazon. Or if you tell me Amazon's going to bust, I would just laugh at you. Or like Alibaba, if you told me they're going to bust, I would laugh at you. It's like, no, that's not going to bust. But Amron was the same way, and you can't. Them are things you can't account for in your life.
Sears, like if you told someone in the 70s, oh, Sears is going to go bad, or J.C. Penney, they're going to go broke, they would have laughed at you.
Because they undercut the mall system and then slated them all for death.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, you're not that much older than me, but but Sears and J.C. Penney were those are like behemoths, right? Like back in the day.
Yeah. One time I remember considering going into J.C. Penney, and they said, "Oh, everything's great. J.C. Penney's great and everything." And for some reason, I didn't, and I'm glad now I didn't.
GE too. GE's another one. Like their stock never did anything anyway, but you have some of these companies everyone thinks are so great, but they don't do well in the stock market. Like Pfizer is another one.
Yeah. Now look at that recent thing, Mr. K brought. That's why I was looking at Bitcom as something that's maybe slated because Elon Musk just dumped a load of money into it, and then it went up.
Right.
He's making on the way up. Now, when it is slated for death, he's not going to be stupid, and he has enough power where he's probably betting that it's going to go down.
Right. Like PayPal, that's probably going to go to 1,000 someday. It's 300. I had it at $80. I sold it.
You had 80 stocks on PayPal?
I had I had it at $80
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, and I sold it at like
I wish
90.
I would've got into PayPal. It's like
It's 300 now. It's like
300 now?
almost
See, them are the
close
ones
to
that you.
300.
Yeah, PayPal was a solid investment.
That's
That-
his company too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just follow these guys. There's certain guys you can just follow. Like Warren Buffett, like he bought, I forget what he just bought. He bought, I think, Coca-Cola, but he bought something else recently, and then it just stock went up. I forget what it was.
And I honestly see
Chevron. I think he bought Chevron.
SpaceX at right now 287, I think.
They're all
SpaceX.
followers. Most people in the stock market are just followers. They're just followers.
There's 3 of them that Elon Musk got now. There's SpaceX, and there's the new internet deal, and then there's which will come from SpaceX, so I can see formation there.
Yeah.
And if Google or even I would love to see Yahoo kind of get involved where I always said Yahoo is going to come back, but I don't know if that's going to be true. If Yahoo gets that contract for SpaceX or something, and that becomes the it's possible. And I do think they have to put up a video like this they can do. And it competes with Google. Then okay, having Google stock's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's done really well. But the thing is, like, they just feed us crumbs though of information. They don't give us any good information. like the information that you get from Drudge. Oh, I read Drudge Report. I'm educated. Yeah,
that's all future.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. You don't. That's not really. They give you crumbs. They're not even giving you crumbs. They're not. Right. It's not even crumbs. It's worse than crumbs. It's like they're not. Like there's all insider stuff. Like they have all the true information of what they want to do and where their money's going. Like us public, we're getting bits of like, oh, I read Barron's, I'm educated, or I read Wall Street Journal. Like, no, you don't have. You don't really have any. Your information's really limited.
Yeah.
There's no integrity. I don't see the integrity in those journals. Do you? I don't see them.
No, because anytime someone come around, and I always made it a habit, anytime someone was pushing something, that I did the exact opposite thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how they're pushing. Well, I'm not gonna say it. That's okay, but like how they're pushing this veganism. I'll talk about that. Like,
back in the day, Oakmark. I was not invested in Oakmark, and they come in and they said everybody's got to get out of Oakmark, and then I thought, no, I'm going to I put all my money in Oakmark, and I made like 30% that year, and then it's like 300% now. It's almost 1,200% now.
That's why again you take the small positions. If you got you don't have to take a big position on a stock like that. That's a lot of money.
With Enron, it was a failure because of the system, not of I made good decisions.
Yeah, they got away with it.
Yeah, they got away with it.
Just skilling and kind of play,
yeah. I still look at my government and say that was my government letting me down. It's like I still want them to prosecute and get my money back. But do you think I am?
No, that's the thing. It's like relying. That's why we rely on ourselves.
That was legislation. They legislated out of that one.
Right. We rely on ourselves, and
that. How could I have ever accounted for that? And I still think the government owes me money for that.
Well, they did the same thing with the real estate in mid 2000s. So they did the same thing. Well, they're giving out all these loans, and
they legislated out of that now. And it's like, okay, it doesn't help me.
It's all it's a predatory world, like you said. It's all you have to, you have to like I was like a book I read, The Education of a Poker Player. There's forward to it, and he was talking about how like this guy Yardley was the author, and it's a good book, but he was just saying how like he just plays the odds, like he's playing the odds, and like he has a pessimistic like when he walks into a poker game, he's not overly optimistic. He just plays the odds. He has a pessimistic kind of game plan because he knows that things can go bad. And I think that's almost how we have to approach life. Is we have to almost like you don't just you have a new friend, you don't give him all your details of your life like in the first time you meet him. Like you have to have a pessimistic view of life sometimes to protect yourself.
Right. we're going to change hats here, and we're going to go back to MGTOW.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I'm just talking about like having that like you can't be a sucker. Like don't be a. I think that's the thing about MGTOW is we're telling people just don't be a sucker. You know, because you know you get into that marriage thing, you're a sucker. You get into a long-term relationship, you're a sucker.
Sucker, yeah. And I mean, as for that, I don't care what anybody else does. Don't come around here and share that stuff with me. Well, it doesn't work, and it's like I don't want to hear it, and it's a fool's bet. And I wish the world was, always go back to my book, the books on the dark side of human nature. But I wish the world was happy rainbows and unicorns, but it's not, and that's it.
No, and guys like Harper, and I always talk about him, but because I know he's pretty successful.
He disappointed you greatly too.
Well, at least he says he was successful. I don't know. I think he was because I could tell because he was a smart guy, right? Yeah. But then even him, he's like going into this unicorn hunting, and I always bring it up because it goes to show if you don't keep your guard up and if you don't stay in this thing, keep learning and growing, you're gonna fall into that little kind of like you're gonna be lackadaisical. I say it. I can't say it.
Lackadaisical.
Yeah, lackadaisical, and then think, oh, I can handle this, and then next thing you know, everything you worked for the past 20 years, you're giving it away to someone who's a total stranger, who totally baited and switched you and took half of your shit.
Yeah.
And now you're suffering from PTSD and PTSD or
PTSD from that.
You get PTSD from that type.
Yeah, you got several things going on there, which we talk about a lot in the back. You're having anxiety from the bacteria is gone. You're not getting the input from oxytocins and all those other hormones that we're going through. You're going through a dark place. You have separation anxiety. We'll just say that, and then you got the infinite question of this person screwed me over, the person I trusted most in life, and that's the big one that you're going to keep rotating back to. I trusted, I believed in them, and it didn't work out. That's the big question. Why didn't it work out for me? And then they'll tell you, oh, you were just you weren't good enough, Joe. No, I was good enough. That's like, and then with the dark side of human nature, it's like, no, you people just screwed me. And it's the same thing as the stock market. I was slated for disposability.
That's right.
And you're gonna have to come back, and that's where life trauma coach Joe can come in and help you with those stab wounds in your back.
Yeah. I think that's what Claire's all about. Claire's the bait and switch. I mean, she's the bait and switch, prototypical.
She's gonna stab you in the back. That's what we're telling. She throws knives. She can hit a fucking pop can from 200 feet.
Yeah. You don't see it coming, and these guys, we're just trying to warn these guys, and I don't know. They want to stay in their fantasy fictional world. I hate saying his name again, but Harper and is like that video kind of traumatized me. Quite honestly, it really did. I mean, because I
know it did. I remember when it happened. You were like, oh, wait. This
guy's like around 40 years old. He's not like a kid. You know what I mean?
He was, he was successful and had everything going, but he wanted that American dream.
Right. He bought into it for whatever reason. Because you can tell how he talks. He's a smart guy, right? He's not He's not like talking to Angry MGTOW. I don't know. I know you thought highly of Angry MGTOW, but I thought he was like the biggest. I thought he was the biggest idiot in probably the history of.
He was trying to be authentic. He was authentic, but that authenticism sometimes we bought into Mayor of MGTOW too. He had an authenticism about him, and that's the big.
Even with him, when his whole pitch and everything, the way he started back, because I lived down in Southern California for about 10 years, so I know so I know how they are out there. They're kind of they're very like they don't have a lot of substance out there. They're all mostly style, and he's a perfect example of that.
I donated
So I picked up on him right away, being a pussy, you know.
to this thing because it became trendy, and I was just like, okay, I just donated $5. Every time I said feminism, I donated $5 to the mayor of MGTOW, and but hey, we get taken too, and that seems to be a crisis in MGTOW that we talk about a lot. We had the mayor of MGTOW. We had people. We've had these people coming around. We have angry MGTOW. We had even with the MRA, they had to go through that too, and they went through it, and it crushed them. They trusted these girls, and then the girls stole everything. We should have some kind of system in place already where we have built, brick and mortar already built, but we don't, and because we trusted these people, and we're hey, that tells a lot about what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's our, it's like we say, like they use like women, for example, they use our good qualities against us,
They use our good qualities against us, and all
right,
trust is one.
Right, and that's what these simps do. They do the same thing.
Simps do the same things, yeah.
Yeah, they used our good qualities against us. Right, like our integrity and our honesty and this kind of things.
Right. So that's something we have to work on in MGTOW, and we have to build something that's like is preventative of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I think you talked about too, Like, I don't ask for permission anymore. I'm not going to ask for, I'm not going to ask for your permission if I know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I don't ask for permission from anybody.
Yeah, I don't ask for permission. Like, I got this judge right now. He's, the situation I was telling you about before with property I own, and this guy's a real son of a bitch, man. This judge, like, he's like siding with the female. I'm like, you know what, man? It's like I didn't commit any crime here. I said, who do you think? Like, they try to intimidate you with oh, I'm a lawyer. I'm a judge. They don't really have any authority. Like in the situation, like I did my research, like they have no authority. They can't make me sign something I don't want to sign.
Right.
Like, you're not going to intimidate me to sign it. I'm not going to sign it.
Right.
Kiss my ass. I'm not signing it. Just because you have a title,
Yeah,
no.
all of those, even divorce is honor laws. They get you to sign things, and you don't have to submit to their authority because they have no authority.
Right, exactly. Well, there you go. We just saved there's the best part of our podcast. Like, don't sign things that you don't want to sign. Right? It sounds really simple, but a lot of times we get coerced into doing things like that, and we shouldn't do it. If it's not in our best interest, don't do it. And never sign anything under duress. Give yourself some time to think it over. Give yourself a week, a month, whatever.
Yeah, I always used to say, if they ask you your name, you say you should already know my name, and if they ask you your social name, you should know my social. If you're a real authority, you should know my social security number. You should know who you're talking to.
Right. Don't give people authority. Even when I apply for jobs now, I don't put my real address on there anymore. Because you know what? Until you offer me a job, you're not getting any fucking information from me.
No, I set up like 5 different fake. Back then I set up 5 different fake addresses. There's 5 fake addresses.
Yeah, use an old address. You whatever. You're not getting information from me. You're not getting free information. You're not.
And when I started doing that, my life improved. When I started taking that kind of attitude, that
right. Treat people the way you don't want to be treated.
Yeah, it's like no.
I don't know if that's accurate. I think it might be accurate, that statement, huh, Joe?
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're treating us. They're treating us like garbage.
Yeah, treat people the way you think they would treat you. And that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 2:05 mark again, where I usually like to end this thing.
Yeah, Ohio State's playing Michigan right now. It's a good game.
Watch
Michigan's up by 2. Yeah, it's on CBS. 74.
Basketball?
Yeah, there's 3 minutes left. Yeah, you can catch the end of it. Yeah.
Oh, I can catch the end of it. Okay.
But yeah, it was a good podcast. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would just say to men that, listen, you got to learn to, like Jeff and I talk about a lot, is just learn to trust yourself more. I think when you start giving your power away to other people, like, they don't even know you. Like, these people don't even know you. You should know yourself better than anybody. So take your power back and
make decisions based on what's in your best interest, not in other people's, and get rid of that codependency crap too. I would add that. So anyway, that's my closing statement.
Codependency. My favorite person in the whole world is me.
That's right.
Time with myself. If you get to that point where your favorite person in the whole world is you like the internal dialogue that you're having in your head, you don't need someone to. You're not going to need someone you're going to have to trust, because you can trust yourself.
That's right.
And with that, thanks a lot, man, for coming around. Thanks a lot for being MGTOWs. All your simp sins are forgiven on this Sunday. The alternate religion is MGTOW. All your simp sins are forgiven. Move on with that. Become a better person. Start trusting yourself. Start liking yourself. Once you start thinking you're the best thing that ever walked on this planet, that's when things are going to start working for you. And thanks a lot for coming around. And most of all, man, thanks a lot for being MGTOW. MGTOWs.